Hey, it's your favorite automation engineer back at it again. You might be wondering what the hell I'm doing with this agent. I'm currently building an HR agent, obviously business related. And I felt like while I was building it, like I wanted to build it and then show it, but then another part of me was like, why don't you just build it with them? So I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me just do that. Like, let me just do exactly that. I'll show you my process. So basically, what you're seeing here is something I already partially built, and now I'm repurposing. How I normally go about these things is I never start from scratch. I always get something. I mean, unless I have to start from scratch. Like the only time I start from scratch is after I've done like a ton of research and then found out that I genuinely just cannot find anything that can help me sort of figure this out. Then I'll just jump into like documentation, start figuring out how to patch together the HTTP requests and everything. I remember there was a day where I was trying to like figure out how to do refresh token, like a refresh token loop in N8, and it was so annoying. I might show you guys that very soon. It was really fucking annoying, but yeah, it works now, so very excited about that. Beyond this, yeah, I always have Copilot open, and I just have Copilot help me. I even call it by name, which is a bit of an anthropomorphization issue, but it is what it is. I just like it helps me work better, like an assistant, because Copilot kind of knows me, knows how I like to consume data information, and we're able to communicate like really quickly. Anyway, I just asked it to like come up with a schema for a Google Sheets table that I'm going to be using to like track, because like basically this is just very basic. If I wanted to do something for like scale, then I probably would have used something like Superbase or something. Even Superbase is like not really that good of a solution, but Superbase works. Um, and it works like you don't have to pay anything crazy to use Superbase. Google Sheets is kind of trashy because of the rate limiting aspect, but it's not as if we're going to be using Google Sheets like all day or something. This agent is only, and somehow this thing just doesn't want to load. This agent is only going to get used at some parts of the day. Um, so like when employees are just trying to test or like how it works or like just trying to text it or whatever. Um, Let me explain to you how it's actually supposed to work. So this agent is supposed to be basically HR, right? What do you normally do with HR? HR normally helps when you're onboarding clients or employees, I guess. You're onboarding employees, you're offboarding employees. And if employees have like complaints, they come to HR. Whenever employees have issues, they come to HR. Whenever employees are the issue, they have to go to HR and then they get dealt with over there. So all of that is getting handled here. Uh, every employee is being tracked here. Every employee has a status, which is very important. The status of an employee will track how the agent, like the agent's uh, system prompt. So this thing. Now, right now, I only have it set as one single onboarding prompt. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing some kind of context switch based on the employee that I'm going to pull in. So my idea is to uh, get the message, figure out who the employee is, uh, and then get the employee data from the Google Sheet. Using the data, I will figure out what status the employee is on, and then I'll pull in the sort of right system prompt, and then the rest will just get handled by the. So right now I'm just using basic simple memory because I'm the only employee. But yeah, very simple memory. I'll also just start adding tools here because I feel like adding tools is like really interesting thing, especially with this new AI agent tool that I've been playing around with in another workflow, another agent workflow, but that's for like a Telegram agent, and I just want to play around with something here. But like yeah, um, this is what I've been designing just right now. I've added like a fake employee here just to see how it would look and like how it would function. But yeah, that's basically what I've been working on, and I felt like I could just show you guys how I do things. So I just explained exactly what I'm going to do. and I guess now is a good time to start. So, how this works, right, is like as I just explained, I got this from somewhere else. So, like, I was using this already. I used it in a different project, but I got the initial template from NADM. Uh, you might notice, and then I just added like a few useful notes because like it was working, but like it was like bare bones, like what you normally find. Like you have to customize things. So this one is like fully functioning. It handles all the edge cases, even the unnecessary data that WhatsApp just keeps sending out like all the time. It handles all of those. Actually, if we go into executions, you'll find all this weird data that just keeps popping up every few seconds, and that's just what WhatsApp does. It just sends this residual data that gets really, really annoying sometimes. Most of it would have been failed data. You can't let it go through your workflow. So that's why you have to have these fallback switch statement. So you have to switch, and then whenever there's like some fallback case, you just have to take that data and then just throw it away, basically through an if node like this. Yeah, so this switch node is, you probably can't see. It's fine, it's fine. This switch node is taking care of whatever data type is coming in. I can actually just show this. It's gonna be looking at the file of the data that's coming in, if it's an audio file or text file or something. And how I'm communicating with it is through my phone over here. And yeah, Um, yeah, currently building this out. It's looking really interesting. Let me just continue building, just so that you see what we're actually dealing with. So I just said how I wanted to um, add that kind of context switching ability. I think the best way to do it is to basically, okay, let's go through the table because like now you've had a look at the agent itself, even though you haven't really had a look at it. We'll go through it later, but this table is really important. This is normally how I define most of my tables. Um, so for one thing, it's the data, right? It's employees, it's employee progress or states or whatever, and then it's uploads. This is document uploads that employees actually do. We want to track them all in one place. Of course, they're going to how uploads are going to work, and I haven't actually implemented them yet, but I guess I could do that like very soon. Oh, I actually have implemented partially. Okay, all three upload types. So what this does is it gets the audio URL through WhatsApp. This downloads the this generates a URL, a download URL for the media. This downloads the media into the workflow, and then this immediately uploads the file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this over here so that I can get the file name and other things, and then maybe save them. I could also add another Google Drive node for sharing purposes so that it's actually accessible through the internet, it's discoverable through the internet as well. That's also like an idea that I could play around with. But I don't really want to expose my employee details like that. I might also switch this out for something like a Google storage node. That's always an idea as well. Google File Storage is definitely much better to an extent, especially if it's like protected. So like so many options. Things I'm gonna still continue figuring out. But basically, after those media types get downloaded, they end up getting read in and then fed as context for the HR agent so that it understands what's going on. So understand how it works. It's gonna ask you like maybe if it, during onboarding, it's gonna ask you for your ID so that it verifies your ID against the name it has of you in the system, and so on and so forth, things like that. It's gonna need this type of file handling capability. It also needs to be able to sort of understand people's words for accessibility purposes, and that's exactly what happens here, right? We get transcription through OpenAI, of course. OpenAI is the king. Did you hear about the open source model, by the way? Very cool, very cool. Very excited to see how that goes. But yeah, this is image analysis because most times people don't even send documents; they just send images of documents. that works as well. We have OCR, probably some kind of OCR or AI analysis happening over there. But I'm sorry for the noise. I seem to be in a war zone. Okay, let's keep going. So this is the agent over here, and I'm gonna be connecting a bunch of tools to this because I feel like agents are only useful if they have tools connected to them. And I want to play around with this new AI agent tool, as I said before. But besides that, now we are checking if the previous state, so whatever file that came in, it was an audio or text. If it was a text, then we pass it and then we just send the message back to the person. If it was audio, then we send an image over here. I mean, a file. We generate a file through OpenAI, and then we sort of figure out the MIME types for the audio. Okay, let me just actually make sure that that's exact one. So for const item of input role, if item dot binary, object dot keys dot binary, for const prop names, audio mp3, audio mp. Okay, yeah. We fix the MIME type and then we send the file over. Yeah. Okay, that works. And that's basically how the agent works. It's gonna speak to you in whatever way you speak to it. Uh, if you send it a message, okay, let me actually just do that real quick because it's active. Let me just do that very quickly. If you send it a message in text, it's gonna send you a message back in text, and so it's currently asking. You probably can't see this. It's currently asking for my proof of address. You probably can't see this, but yeah. I'm gonna tell it that I don't have it. Actually, I don't have any of my documents. I'm gonna tell it in my voice. Hey, I don't have any of my documents right now. I hope that's okay. Could you give me maybe like a few hours so that I could get home and then just uh, have them, you know? Message just got sent, and now we should see something come through over here. And there we go. Um, uh, the automation runs for like a few seconds, and I should get a message back in a few. And there we go. And hopefully it's speaking English.
Hey there. No worries at all. I totally get that life can get a bit hectic. Take your time to gather your documents. I'll be right here, ready to jump back in when you are. Just give me a shout when you're ready to upload, and we'll make this process smoother than butter on toast.
Okay, buddy. Yeah, I made it a bit quirky in the system problem. I'm slightly regretting it now because like it keeps making these weird ass jokes, but whatever. I feel like all HR people are a bit quirky to an extent. Like you have to have that kind of human element, and people like quirky people, like me. Okay, so let's keep going. As I said, I wanted to add a this prompt switching ability, but before that, I think I should figure out the document upload type, um, the document uploading capability first. I think a useful way of doing this because one thing I understand, you want to be able to use as much context as possible. That's why I set the context window over here to 20. Um, it's because I wanted to remember and be able to pull as much context as possible, even though I understand that for an OpenAI node that can't really handle too much context, that's probably bad. But what I'm hoping and praying for is the fact that the mere fact that it's not like all it actually handles is just system prompt. So most of the context is just mostly system prompt every single time. Um, Everything else is just messages, like just text that gets generated. So I'll show you in the execution logs, I guess. Um, sent like a huge ass document. Wait, he said
In
a
the
lot.
meantime, if you need a gentle reminder of what to grab, here's a quick list. 1. ID copy. 2. Proof of address. 3. Bank statement. 4. Tax number document. 5. CV or resume. Feel free to take a few hours or even a coffee break. I'll be here waiting to help you get all set up. Don't forget to put your phone on silent while you dash about. You don't want to miss the chance to grab those essential docs.
Yeah, okay. That's exactly what he said. Okay. So what I wanted to check out was over here. So this token usage. There's a limitation to the amount of tokens that can be used at any time. So you have to make sure, like, if you're feeding context in through the this time it only so it came here and then it got chat history of about 2 messages, I believe. Yeah, it was 2 messages. If it was way more messages, that would have been slightly bad. But as you can tell here, the key we're using to access the messages is based on the number, and I just doxed my number over here. But you can text me or call me anytime if you want to work with me. That's fine. Let's keep going. Yeah, this it's just to make sure that it understands as much as possible. I want to store the file names over here as well. So I want to pass it in as just so that it gets stored in the memory. Um, and to do that, first I think I'm going to share the file. I think that's like a very useful thing to do. Here I am typing share. um, I've shared quite a few Google Drive files in my life. I think I've actually gotten somewhat used to it. Once you play around with these types of systems a lot, you start like noticing consistent things that keep popping up again and again. It should be ID over here, and if it isn't, then we can just change that when we're like on runtime or anytime. But it's yeah, it's gonna fail, and we're gonna catch it, of course. Actually, that's exactly why I set up the logs and the auto and the errors, which I was talking about like later on. I mean earlier on. Um, and like whenever I'm setting up my database, there's always a log, which is like AI based log. So AI rates itself, or maybe some AI rates the AI conversation, just so that I know how happy any site is. And then also the errors, because like you have to set up an error catching workflow, just so that because I love seeing emails, even if they're like an error has occurred in your workflow. I love seeing that type of stuff, and it makes me very happy, which is kind of funny to say, but like it's the truth. It makes me exceptionally happy. So let's just let me just join. Um, I'll just join this over here. Okay. I want to make sure that it actually pulls through. I think I will do a conditional. So I want to pull the okay, we're sharing the file. Normally when you're sharing a file, you won't get the file ID over here. So you have to pull the ID from the previous one, from the upload file. Um, and obviously the file ID is going to be very useful for us. Um, so yeah, we're gonna just pull that from that. We're gonna say .item.json, and we're just gonna say .id. Yes, but like we want this only if it exists. Um, and for that we'll use something like equals null, and this will so it'll be like a ternary statement. So it'll be like a one-line calculation basically. If the upload if the ID that we're supposed to get, so if someone actually uploaded something, then this will obviously not be null. But if nothing was uploaded, it will be null. And what we want for that is we want the actual ID to come through, and we not just the ID but the text as well. Um, for that, we'll do something like this. So we'll say uploaded file ID, and then we'll do a plus over here, and then we will add this, and then when, like, if it's actually, if, so if it, okay, yeah, we want, so if this exists, we want to actually upload the file ID. If it doesn't exist, then we want to push nothing in there. So once it grays out, just know that you're on the right track. If it was green, it would have meant that this node had executed. Like this node executed because it's the first node, and it's not as if it executed. It's actually just it has something pinned over there from a previous execution that I was running or debugging or whatever. That should handle file uploads. If something gets uploaded, it will get saved as a, like, in text as like a file uploaded or whatever. But if there's nothing, then it will just not show anything. That's a way to like use, conditionally activating. Like most people, they underestimate the power of expressions. You don't want to feed your AI anything uh, that doesn't deserve to be there. I love expressions so much that I use them everywhere, even when I don't have to use them, like in my edit fields, my code nodes, and whatever. Okay, let me just save this really quickly. And now that I've dealt with the file uploading, I want to deal with the context switching. So, or I guess it's the system prompt switching. So I want this agent to be able to do onboarding, offboarding, to be able to deal with employees that are sort of not complying, employees that are causing trouble, things like that. All those are going to be roles, or I guess identities, that the agent is going to have to switch between. For that, I'm going to need a different table from these. So I was showing you the tables before. This is the employees table that tracks all employees. Employees, all of them have statuses. I said this before. That status is going to determine how the agent is going to interact with them. There's progress, of course, which is, I think I'm thinking it should be something along the lines of progress that someone makes in any status. So once they are fully done with something, then they get like a new status. So they get a new status, and then they immediately get a new entry in this table. And I think this is very useful for tracking how well employees actually go about their business. And then this uploads is obviously just for tracking uploads. So if anything gets uploaded, of course, I want to be able to put the information in here. And I think that's something I can actually handle with a tool call as well. But that's going to come in the future. There's logs, of course, and the logs are going to track uh, how basically whatever happens, like as I said, if there's anything that happens in a workflow, how the humans was interacting, how the AI was interacting, and like the synergy basically of the conversation or anything like that. All of it will get tracked, and all of it should get tracked, I feel, if you want to build like a scalable system that actually works. And then there's the errors and the automations, which is basically just timestamps. If there's any error, of course, you want to track everything. I also feed the error stack into AI as well, so that it generates like a summary, so that I know exactly what to tackle. Because like you get a ton of information from the error node. I think I actually have a video on error workflows. You can go check that out on my channel. But yeah. Right now, we're going to set up a new table, and I'm going to make this as simple as possible. I'm going to make this very simple. It's just going to be um, just a bunch of system prompts here, just a bunch of system prompts. So it's going to be onboarding system prompt. It's going to be offboarding system prompt. It's going to be um, compliance system prompt, which is basically maybe someone needs to upload some kind of compliance documents, or like, not if they did something, but like if they're going to do something, then that has to be uploaded. And somehow my computer is having the time of its life. Okay. And yeah, it's onboarding, offboarding, compliance, disciplinary, I guess, is a good one as well. I'm kind of riffing here, but you get my point. Um, I think these are relatively good. What I normally do when uh, designing system prompts is I try not to overthink anything in the beginning, especially when dealing with like agentic flows. I try not to overthink how it's gonna work. I get something that works first and foremost, and then I iterate off of it. Make it better over time. Anyway, I don't really know what tools I'm going to add in the future, so it's better not to think about the future right now. Right? It's better to just define the basic operation, and then work off of that. Like define the basics of how the agent is supposed to act at any moment in time. So I already defined the onboarding one. I'll let go of that one. I'll define the disciplinary one. How I normally want to think about this is how would a normal HR agent, how would a normal HR person like talk to someone who has done something wrong? So I will feed these ideas into an AI, and then I will get it to develop them more and more, and then I'll get it to turn it into an a system prompt. So just I guess you can watch. Um, so yeah. Um, so I have an idea, right? Like, could you give me a conversation between an HR and someone who is going through a uh, disciplinary meeting with the HR. Make it realistic and make sure you cover all sorts of points and topics that the HR would cover. Uh, Basically, ensure that you uh, highlight the HR's role. Uh, yeah, I think that's fine. Um, why I'm doing this is I'm having it come up with a conversation so that I'm going to have it analyze the conversation and then understand how maybe it could come up with a system prompt that operationalizes the role itself. I don't even have to read the conversation too much because, as I said before, I can just make it work later on. Like I can just specify everything. But yeah, um, now what I want you to do is operationalize this entire role. Um, Thus turning it into a fully defined system prompt for an HR agent. Okay, this is fun. I could say more. I feel like yeah, it's not a good thing to like overthink these things, but so I think now that it knows the disciplinary meeting example and the context, it's gonna fully operationalize the entire thing. Um, how I like my system prompts is I like a fully defined identity. So a fully defined purpose, like you are a da 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 da. I also like possible, yeah, conversational flows, exactly. So if someone says this, you say this. If someone says this, you say this. Tone and style, very good. Um, Core responsibility is very good. Sometimes what you want to have is sort of like in inputs and outputs. So if you want your agent to do other things, so that's something I'm probably going to be adding later on when I start thinking about like tool calls. Maybe for a certain system prompt, I want to have a certain tool call. So like if the disciplinary meeting goes very badly, and then now it has to send a message to the employee's manager, um, then that would actually happen. That would be probably like a tool call, like sending a message to the manager just to say, hey, this guy is actually not apologetic at all. He needs a little bit more than what I can give him, which is like something very, very useful. But yeah, like I'll take this and then plop it right in here, and then I'll develop it over time, make it better. Like add more sort of ideas to it, and that's basically how I'll do the exact same with the other ones as well. And then all I have to do in here is have some kind of, because I'm already getting the WhatsApp IDs over here in this first note. So I'm already getting the ID of the person I'm talking to. Oh, yes, the phone number ID. I could even use that, or the WhatsApp ID. By the way, that's my number. If you like text me, you can totally reach me on that. By the way, just saying. Yeah, I could use that and then have it search through the system for the employee ID, find the related status, use that status to pull in the right system prompt, and then plop it right in there, right in there. And doing the standard thing isn't actually very complex, but yeah, I can just do it like immediately. But yeah, I have to go right now, so I'll see you when I see you, and hopefully when I see you, this thing will be like really really well defined. So I'll see you. Bye.